I certainly do think this was criminal activity. It was lawlessness, and I think that that's troubling. But thugs is a dog whistle in the most classic sense, and I have seen this dog whistle time and again.
Ain't nothing changed, nothing new here to see. This ain't nothing but some political maneuvering. America, welcome to the eulogy, eat it up. It's called political buffoonery.
Hey there, everybody, and welcome to This Week in DUMBmocracy, where we showcase some of the dumbest newsmakers of the week. Contrary to the opinions of those on the left, people don't own words. They don't own definitions that they come up with at any given time or place. It doesn't change from time to time. Words have objective meanings that we all can use in our daily lives. In fact, I'm a bit of a believer that words are a kind of magic. We use words in certain ways in order to get people to do things we want, to not do things we don't want, to persuade, to give compliments, to insult, to make people happy, to make people mad, to make people sad. That's the power behind them. But what people aren't entitled to are their own definitions. Take, for instance, the situation going on right now in Kansas City in the fallout of the shooting at the Chiefs Victory Parade. The mayor of Kansas City, a gentleman by the name of Quinton, seems to think that the word thug is a connotation of racism somehow. We're going to prove that wrong in this video, but before we do, please subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell so you don't miss any other shows, and if you like what you're seeing here in this or any other video on this channel, be sure to smash that thumbs up button, like, comment, share the show with your friends, all that good stuff, because all of that feeds the YouTube algorithm. Thank you guys so much for all you do in getting the word out about the channel. You're doing a great job of it. And to all you newbies out there who have stumbled upon this channel for the first time, hey, welcome aboard. Hope you stay around, and I hope I earn your subscription with this video using my words to show how Quinton Lucas cannot manipulate language for his own devices. So what you see on the screen right now is what I found on Google as the definition for the word thug. They have two definitions up there. One, the sort of colloquial everyday definition, the general meaning, and then they have the derivation of the word. So according to Google, thug means a violent, aggressive person, especially one who is a criminal. Now that seems to say that anyone can be a thug. I can be a thug. My sister can be a thug. I think she is sometimes, but don't tell her that. Just about anyone, male, female, race, ethnicity, religion, everyone has the potential, if they are a violent, aggressive person who have criminal tendencies, they can be a thug. But the mayor of Kansas City, Quinton Lucas, seems to think that the word has a special connotation for racism towards African Americans. Now, the derivation of the word is not in that sense at all. It has to do with an organization of robbers and assassins. It comes from Sanskrit. It comes from an Indian derivation. So I don't know where he's getting this from, but let's examine what he's talking about right now. So Mayor Lucas went on KCUR radio with host Steve Kraske, I hope I'm getting his name right, to discuss the latest on the Kansas City shooting, and Kraske asked for Mayor Lucas's reaction to a statement made by Governor Mike Parson in response to what happened. Let's listen to this and let's see the reaction from Lucas.
You know, Mayor, I'm struck by Governor Parson's comments. He's going to join us later on in this program. After the shooting, he said we can't let some thugs and criminals just take over and ruin what happened. I gather that's not quite your assessment of what happened that day.
I have respect for the governor. We get along well. I disagree strongly with how he would describe that situation. I certainly do think this was criminal activity. It was lawlessness, and I think that that's troubling. But thugs is a dog whistle in the most classic sense, and I have seen this dog whistle time and again.
So Lucas is equating the word thug with a racial undertone that the definition of the word doesn't have. He seems to believe that people use this word as a quote-unquote dog whistle, as a signal to others, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, that there's some sort of racist connotation, a negative racist connotation involved with the use of that word coming from people discussing crime and criminality. He seems to be implying that Governor Parson may be using it in that way as well, or is at least using it in a way that is ignorant of that connotation and that he's disappointed in that. Clearly, he's going to blame conservatives for that as well, right?
This kind of giant conservative theory on social media now that the reason that mugshots haven't been shown is because the purported defendants are black, and if it were a white defendant, we would have just shown them. That is absolutely preposterous.
Oh, right on time.
There are protections to juveniles. Our city has a gun violence.
There are protections to juveniles. I wonder where those protections were for Kyle Rittenhouse. I wonder where those protections were for Nicholas Sandmann. They weren't there for them. So if there were minors involved in this, why aren't they being treated the same way as a Kyle Rittenhouse or a Nicholas Sandmann? Why aren't the names coming out? Now, ultimately, there are 2 adults involved in this shooting as well, allegedly. They had an altercation, and in the words of one of the suspects, were acting stupid with a gun. Clearly, that's not what we want people to do, but there's nothing inherently racist about questioning why the students at the time, or the younger people at the time, were not being named in the same manner that other people were. And there are theories out there, indeed, that when there are shootings involving people of color, the names don't come out as quickly as when shootings involve white males.
They wouldn't tell us about the transgender woman that shot up the Christian school for what, like a year? San Bernardino out here. Remember the crazy terrorist Muslims? That's when I first noticed, they're not telling us who it is. It's not a white male. The longer they go without telling you, it's not a white male.
I don't know if that's true or not. I'm not going to subscribe to that theory. I haven't studied this the way that people may have, but it is out there in the discussion, so I just wanted to point that out as well. So I'm trying to understand Quinton Lucas's dog whistle here. He seems to be making this claim that it's possibly a black thing or something like that. And frankly, I'm going to take issue with that, and I'm bringing receipts. Like what you see so far? Go ahead and smash that thumbs up button. Also, leave us a comment and tell us what you're thinking. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another show. So listen, I want to be fair to Quinton Lucas and examine his assertion that the word thug is intended to be a dog whistle for racism, racial undertones. And I did about 5-10 minutes of research or so, and I found examples in political discourse where this doesn't apply. Take, for example, this clip from 2014. This is Congresswoman Frederica Wilson from Florida, a woman of color, using the word thug in the context of terrorist activity.
And so when someone else has been decapitated, it is horrible. These are murderous thugs.
And now here's Anderson Cooper in 2020 calling Donald Trump a thug.
The president seems to think that dominating black people, dominating peaceful protesters is law and order. It's not. He calls them thugs. Who is the thug here? Hiding in a bunker? Hiding behind a suit? Who is the thug?
Seems like thug is open territory for everybody to use and doesn't have that dog whistle. But hey, politics is downstream from culture, right? Let's look at how that's used in media. Remember this clip from the classic movie Blazing Saddles?
Take this down. I want rustlers, cutthroats, murderers, bounty hunters, desperados, mugs, pugs, thugs.
So in Westerns, thugs are just criminals, roustabouts, ornery people, just all around bad people. Doesn't matter what race they are. They can be from any culture, as we've seen in countless movies. So no racial undertone there. But certainly there is a glorification of the idea of thuggery in media as well. First thing I think about, being an Italian American, is The Sopranos. The Sopranos is the ultimate glamorizing of mobster culture, of thug culture. I mean, the main character is an absolute thug. He goes around beating people up, ordering people killed. Yeah, that's thuggery.
Hey, Mr. GQ. Got a ticket.
Yeah.
How you doing, Mike?
So I think you're getting my meaning here, right? Nobody owns the word thug. It means different things to different people at different times in different settings, depending upon how it's used. So I don't think that Mike Parson was using it in a negative, racist way, this undertone, this dog whistle that Quinton Lucas was talking about here. But that is not to say that there certainly is a usage of the word thug when it comes to hip hop culture and gangster rap. We've seen it for decades now. I'm not going to deny that. In fact, right now, the rapper Young Thug is on trial for crimes. But if you listen to his lawyer, the word thug means something entirely different there, too. Take a listen to this usage. You want to talk about stretching the definition? This is a stretch.
And he became a performer, Young Thug. And from that day forward, he insisted everybody call him Young Thug. And that fit in to the appearance of the gangster rap. Because most people think about a thug as a criminal. But to Jeffrey, thug had a different meaning. Thug meant and means to Jeffrey something very personal. He would be truly humble under God.
What in the hell?
I mean, listen, when you're an attorney and you have a client facing a federal RICO case, you gotta pull out all the stops, right? But this attorney is making my point in two ways. First, he is using the objective definition of the word thug, equating it to criminality, not criminality by African Americans, criminality in general. And then he tries to do a little bit of agenda gymnastics and twist and contort the definition to fit his own narrative here, much like Mayor Lucas is doing as well. Context matters, people. When you're using the word thug in a Western movie, or if you're using it to talk about criminality in general, or if you're using it in your latest lyric for your gangster rap album, it can have contextual meanings. But again, those are objective as well. No one always uses the word for the same thing. Frederica Wilson can use the word to talk about Muslim terrorists. Anderson Cooper can use the word to talk about Donald Trump. This attorney can use the word to talk about an acronym. It's all relative. Everybody uses the word the way they want to. Mayor Lucas is trying to create a narrative here by characterizing the word thug as a dog whistle for racism. It's just not the case here. He hasn't provided any proof that there's this connotation that always exists. He just says from his experience that it doesn't. Well, guess what? From my experience and from the evidence we're putting forth right now, it certainly doesn't always go that way. But listen, hey, that's just my opinion on the whole situation. Let me know what you think about all this. What's your definition of the word thug? Is there such a thing as objective definitions, words having meaning? Let me know what you think about all that. And as always, please like and share the video with your friends. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss any other shows. Subscribe to the channel. All the good stuff that we always talk about. Let's get into the comments and have some fun with this. I want to see some weird and wacky definitions. Let's see how far you can stretch the meaning of the word thug out to suit whatever narrative you guys want. Let's continue conversations just like this, talking about all the shenanigans and buffoonery happening every day this week in DUMBmocracy.
All views and opinions expressed here are not necessarily of the mainstream media and may offend some listeners. It's called political buffoonery.